So the last shape that we have is the sphere. And so there's a few parts of a sphere. They're going to seem obvious. So the diameter, just like a circle, the diameter is this line that goes all the way down. Okay, so a sphere is perfectly round, so just like a regular circle, and it'll go, as long as it goes through the center, it doesn't, the diameter stays the same length. And then you have the radius. That's this line. That dot in the middle, it's called the center. And then the only new thing is this circle right here. We call that the great circle. So basically, if you cut the sphere exactly in half, that's your great circle. If you don't cut it exactly in half, then the circle you've got is a little bit smaller. So your great circle is right in half. Now, a hemisphere is half of the sphere. But now your formulas, it's not exactly half, the volume is, but the surface area isn't half because you have the great circle part that's not included in the sphere's surface area. But you get the formulas anyway. So we're just finding volume and surface area. So volume is 4/3 pi r squared. You don't even have to type in a fraction. You can just do 4 divided by 3 times pi times 7 squared. Or no, it's cubed. Sorry. Volume is cubed. And you get 1,436.76 inches cubed. And then surface area is 4 pi r squared. It is squared. So 4 times pi times 7 squared. And you get 615.75 inches squared. Number 2, the radius is 2.8. So we just fill that in. That's all we got to fill in. These, you don't have to worry about Pythagorean theorem or any of that. And you get 91.95 meters cubed. And then surface area is 4 pi times 2.8 squared. And you get 98.52. The smaller your sphere, as you get smaller, your surface area actually is bigger than the volume normally. So, number 3, pay attention. It's giving you the diameter. So make sure you use 12 for your radius. So volume is 4/3 pi r cubed. And we get 7,238.23. And surface area is 4 pi r squared. We get 1,809.56. Any questions? Really easy. So then you have the hemisphere, and you just have your formulas are just different. So as long as you recognize when it's a sphere, when it's a hemisphere, shouldn't have any trouble. So number 4, the radius is 9. Volume is 2/3 pi r cubed. Which is 1,526.81. And surface area is 3 pi r squared. Which is 763.41. Try number 5. So number 5, you get 261.8 for your volume and 235.62 for your surface area. Questions? All right. We have 3 application questions. And first one says to find the volume of a sphere with a great circle area of 201.06. So in order to find the volume, we need the radius. That's the only measurement that we need. And the circle, if we can find the radius of the circle, that also is the radius of the sphere. So we have to think back to the circle formula. Your area is pi r squared. And so we're going to have to use that to find the radius, and then use that radius to find the volume. So 201.06 equals pi r squared. So first thing we need to do is divide by pi. And you get 63.999. So that's basically 64 equals r squared. And then you take the square root to get r. Square root of 64 is 8. So the radius is 8. That's going to help us find the volume of the sphere. So volume is 4/3 pi r cubed. And we just found r. So you just got to plug that in. And we get 2,144.66 inches cubed. Number 7 is similar, except it gives us the circumference of the great circle, and we're finding the volume of a hemisphere. So you got to be careful as you're reading that. So we know that circumference is pi times diameter. So circumference is 37.7 equals pi times diameter. So divide by pi. And you basically get 12 as your diameter. But remember, the formulas ask for the radius. So it's 6 is your radius. And it was a hemisphere. So volume is 2/3 pi r cubed. And you should get 452.39. All right, last question. The diameter of a standard basketball is 9.5 inches. So right off, it gives you diameter. You know you're going to need radius. For it doesn't matter what it is. All the formulas use radius. So 9.5 divided by 2 is 4.75. The basketballs are covered in rubber. We want to know the minimum amount of rubber needed to manufacture 4 basketballs. So covered in rubber, that is your surface area. Volume would be if we were talking about filling the basketballs with air. But the outside, that is your surface area. And so the surface area is 4 pi r squared for one of them. So once we find the surface area, we've got to multiply that by 4 because we're making 4 basketballs. So 4 pi times 4.75 squared. Which is 283.53. And that's inches squared. Oops, sorry, I didn't even know it was crooked. All right, and then we have 4 basketballs. So we do 4 times 283.53. Which is 1,134.12. So the biggest thing on that, you've got to be able to recognize, is it talking about volume or is it talking about surface area?